Airbnb is a goldmine for AI voice agents. In today's video, I'll build one live from zero to finish. This video is perfect for anyone who wants to sell AI voice agents, or if you're a property manager looking to run one for yourself. Hey, I'm Mark. I build voice agents for companies around the world, and I also run the best community that teaches you how to build and sell them. In this video, we'll build an Airbnb voice agent for a real property from scratch. I'll show you the exact prompts, how to handle logic for urgent versus non-urgent issues in make.com, how to set up emergency call transfer, and of course, track everything in Google Sheets. I will troubleshoot everything live. It won't be perfect, but it will be real. I'm excited. Let's dive right in.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, my English not good. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes, I do speak Spanish. Would you prefer to continue in Spanish?
Sí.
Perfecto, podemos continuar en español. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Tengo un problema, el agua no está funcionando bien en el baño.
Ajá. Entiendo. ¿Puedo ayudar con eso? Para entender mejor, ¿podrías describir qué está pasando con el agua en el baño? ¿No sale agua o está goteando o hay otro problema?
Here, I'll put you on the phone with my English-speaking uncle. Yeah, so their water's just getting all over the floor. Not sure what to do about it. It's leaking. It's in the bathroom from the bathtub. I'm not sure why.
I understand this is critical. I am connecting you to the on-call manager immediately. While I connect you, if it is safe to do so, please look for a small chrome shutoff valve under the nearest sink and turn it clockwise to close it. We're on it. The manager is calling you now. If safe, close any local water valves and avoid the affected area.
Thank you. Okay, so that was a successful call transfer from what we can tell. Now let me test if it's not an immediate question that needs to be answered with someone over the phone. What if it's just a general maintenance query? Let's test that real quick too, make sure that's working. And then the final test will be just a random question.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, I just wanted to let you know that for some reason, some of the wood on the lodge, when you step on it, it just rattles a little bit unnaturally. So just around the back.
Thanks for letting me know. That sounds like a minor issue. I'll log this as a maintenance ticket for the team to check the wood rattling at the back of the lodge. If it gets worse, please call us back. Ticket created. Is there anything else I can help with?
I think we're good. I really appreciate you and have a great day.
Thank you for calling. We hope you enjoy the rest of your stay at Maple Fork Lodge. Have a great day.
All right, let's check if that was logged. It should have sent us an email, and then it also should have put something in the Google Sheet. So if I go over to my email, I'll hit refresh, and there we go. Maintenance. And we have two requests here. One is the one we just did about the fire. The bathtub leak. This is urgency 4, very important. Summary of the call, more information. And then this one is the one we just did with an urgency 1. So this is just to let you know that they were having a problem with the wood rattling. Here's a summary of the call. The agent logged a maintenance ticket and advised the caller. So, and then for more information, if we go to the Google Sheets here, you'll see that this is provided right here. Maintenance issue, wood rattling, and then urgency level. We can even sort these, right, by urgency if we wanted to, which makes it really nice and easy for us to go through what's been dealt with. All right, so you can see this is the property that we're actually going to be building the agent for. It's a real property in West Virginia for a friend of mine, and my idea for this agent is basically this. It's going to be a first line defense, so it will be answering questions 24/7, like simple questions. What's the Wi-Fi password? Where do I put the trash? How do I take it out? Hey, where do I find the TV remote? These kinds of pesky questions that the property owner is currently being overwhelmed by, let's say. And so hopefully the agent will be able to take care of all of those based off a knowledge base that they would have given me. So you can see that the second thing I want this agent to be able to do is triage issues that come up with like the most severe being transferred to a human. My idea for this is unimportant issues like, hey, the faucet won't stop leaking a little bit. those kinds of things the agent can say, well, try to tighten it a little bit, and that's not a big deal. But versus the house is burning down or the entire downstairs living room is flooding quickly, that needs to be either transferred directly to a human and logged also with high urgency in the flagging process, and then also sent to their email at least. So my idea is if we could separate those issues in order of urgency, that would be very important. That way all the low-level questions are being handled by the AI, and only the very important tasks would be then transferred to the property manager. The other thing was we need to set this up so the agent is connected with make.com and sends an email only when the urgency is above a certain threshold. That's my idea. So let's say urgency is above cat 2. Like everything cat 1 is low level, cat 2 would be something really urgent. That's my idea for this agent. And then as we're building it out, you'll get to see how I pivot and move. First, I'll start with prompting. So I'll take the entire knowledge base, let's say the document that all of the private property information will be on, such as the Wi-Fi passwords, the lock codes, all of it. And I'm going to feed this into my AI that I use to prompt this agent. So in the past, I used ChatGPT, by the way, in case you're wondering, to prompt all my agents. Now I've switched over to Google AI Studio just because they're a lot more accurate. They have a much higher context window as well. You can upload like 5 times as much than you normally would be able to with ChatGPT. And I like just prompting with them better. I find better results. So what I'll do is I'll take first my entire, this is a prompt I use for all of my agents for Google AI Studio. You can find it in my community below. And it basically gives it a format for this Google AI Studio to build the voice AI prompt. I'll paste that in here, and then there's a little section where I put in insert all your data, insert all relevant data. So instructions for use, and I'm going to just take the entire knowledge base and put it right in here beautifully. Okay, so, and this will give us a nice scaffolding as it's running, from which we can then improve, refine, and build this agent with. So this is going to be the master prompt for the agent. As that's cooking up, I'll go back over to Retell, and let's just create a new assistant. This assistant, we'll call it, I don't know, Maple Fork Agent. Create. And we'll keep most of the default settings for now. Maple Fork Agent. Just like so. I'll, for right now, use 4.1 mini. Later, I'll test 5 mini, see how they compare, and then we'll go ahead and just play with it. Now, let me go back to the prompt here. Okay, beautiful. So it's giving us everything I want. And then, okay, that looks pretty good. Very nice. Good. As that's running, I'm going to add a little background sound. I always do this with all my agents. There's a few different options here. I like the coffee shop one, although it's a little bit loud, so I like to turn it down to around 70. Responsiveness is just how quickly the agent will respond as soon as somebody finishes talking. You have to play with this if you're dealing with older folks. They'd like an agent that doesn't respond instantly, because if they're still in the middle of a sentence, it cuts them off. So you have to play with this a little bit depending on your clientele. Interruption sensitivity. This also is variable. I like to keep it around in the 80s, just so that it's not so interruption sensitive that if somebody says something, like just a one word, and the agent's like, what? And stops talking. So you don't want it to be too interruption sensitive versus too little when the person starts talking and the agent just keeps talking without them, and that's very unhuman. So there's a balance there. I like to keep it around 0.8. Back channeling is just where the agent will say, yeah, as the person is in the middle of a sentence talking, just to give it that extra realism. By the way, I'm using Retell AI because it's the greatest platform I find for building quickly these voice agents for developers. It means that you don't have to spin up your own server, build and hard code this with Python and JavaScript. You can just build a voice agent using Retell, and I absolutely love them. So I'm using them for today's video and for this project. Real-time run settings. We'll keep most of these for default. I will say I've been using denoising, remove noise plus background speech a lot more. What this does is, historically, with these agents, if someone was talking in the background as you were on the phone with the agent would hear that person talking and then respond to it and just throw the entire conversation off. So what they've done is, it's really smart, is they've added not just remove like background sounds, but it will actually remove background speech and only hone in on the voice that's speaking directly to the assistant. And I found it to be quite helpful. So I always have this setting on now. Keep these for speed, call settings, and we can temper these later. Perfect. We will be configuring the post-call analysis, the information we're extracting basically from the call. So this will take the entire call transcript for us and just extract the key information we're looking for. Like, what the heck is the person calling about? Do they want us to submit a maintenance request? Are they just asking what the Wi-Fi password is? We want to be able to extract that information and see it at face value rather than have to scroll through the transcript and find out. So obviously this makes it really easy for us. I like to use 4.1 historically. Just 5 literally just came out, so I'm still testing whether 4.1 is as good as 5 and whatnot. So, and I like to use a few different things when I extract. So I always have a summary that comes out by default. But in this case, for this agent, I'm thinking we should extract something like urgency level. So I want the agent to be able to make a qualitative judgment whether it's urgent enough to justify transferring to a human, based on what the person is saying. So if the house is burning down, the agent sure better say, yeah, I got to transfer this to a human, and then rank it in the post-call logic in Google Sheets as a 5 in severity. So your job is to take what the caller is saying and analyze whether it is a 1 to 5 in urgency when it comes to a maintenance problem. Let me say only. If the caller does not have a maintenance problem, simply export always, and we want it to be exactly like this, NA. That way I'm going to be able to use this export here later on. It'll make sense in a second with make.com to know whether I should send an email to the person or not send an email because the person was just asking something meaningless. So I'm going to have that set up here in the logic. And okay, I might give it a little bit more information for context, like 5 being the house is burning down, 1 being there is a simple leak in the faucet, not a big deal. Okay, anything, let's say after 3 is considered urgent enough to justify a call transfer to the owner. All right, let's save for that. I'll think of some more information to put here, but for now, let's go check on the prompt. What did we get? Very nice. Did some multi-shot prompting. Very, very good. Multi-shot prompting, by the way, if you don't know what that is where you actually give the agent, you show the agent what to do, not just tell the agent how to respond. So it'll actually say, like, it'll give what the person would say. User says, okay, I did all that and it's not working, and then the agent would then respond to it. So it gives the agent an actual picture of how it should handle the entire interaction. So I copied this, bring it back here, paste it, and beautiful. So let's go through this. I'm not just going to paste it and then forget it. We actually have to make sure that it works. Can't be lazy here. So, okay, we have the role of the receptionist, immediate knowledgeable point of contact for guests, providing information about the property and its amenities. Yes. Rules, very important. Always be professional, courteous, strict adherence to the knowledge base. Very good. This is exactly what I would put myself. Do not invent answers or speculate. These AI models historically have a propensity to just hallucinate out of blue, so it's really important that you delineate the bounds in which this thing can operate by prompts like this. Never promise refunds or quote fees. Okay, very good. Follow triage. Okay, adhere to maintenance and safety triage scripts. Okay, any issues with keywords like fire, gas must be handled with the highest priority. Good. Do not provide sensitive information. Okay, or the specific locations of security cameras. Okay, good. Very good. And now let me, so by the way, if this is your first video, welcome to the channel that you're watching. I would say I always include a 4-step process for all my prompting. It's rules, steps, and skills for all my agents, just a general framework I use across the spectrum. And the reason I do that is because these agents perform best when you delineate its role, what it can and can't do in the rules, its steps, what it should actually do in the procedures, and you can include things like dynamic variables here, multi-shot prompting, all of it. And then lastly, its skills. You want to say, what is this agent actually good at, so that it fully adopts that persona and that identity. It sounds silly, but it actually matters. Okay, steps. Perfect. Introduce yourself. This is probably what we're going to modify the most. Thank you for calling Maple4 Automated Assistant. I don't like that. It just sounds annoying. So what I like to do, if we're acknowledging that it's an AI at the front, what I always like to say is intelligent. Thank you for calling Maple Fork Lodge. I'm Chloe. Chloe. Let's put this here. Thank you for calling. I'm Chloe, an intelligent assistant. Let's fix that. Assistant for Maple Fork Lodge. And I like to put this in, you can talk to me just like a human. Just like you would to a human. There we go. Because if you just say at the beginning, hey, I'm an AI, most people start going, oh, press 1, human, and they just like freeze. So people don't realize that you can actually talk to an AI like you can a human. We're still not there yet. How can I help you today? Identify user intent, listen to keywords, Wi-Fi, maintenance issues. Okay, for vague requests, ask clarifying questions. I can help with that to understand this. Could you please describe what is happening in more detail? Okay. Good. The Wi-Fi network. So we've got some troubleshooting here, and I really wanted that with this agent so it could actually troubleshoot. I'm sorry to hear the Wi-Fi's down. Let's try replugging it. 30 seconds, good. If you're in danger, hang up and dial 911. Water leak. Okay. So for this, I understand this is critical. I'm connecting you to an on-call managing advisor. Okay, so a manager. For this, we'd have to add a call transfer. The way I would do this, you just go here, call transfer. They make it really easy. Transfer to a human. I would do a warm transfer. They can be a little less reliable, but I find that for something like this, if we're going to call the owner, we want the agent to say, hey, we've got Zach on the line and he's got a fire in the house right now. Can you help him? Like, it needs to be able to give them that little help so that they're prepared to answer the questions. All right. Let's do, we can whisper a message. So if we whisper, it will just only talk to the other person on the line who the call is being transferred to, and the person on the phone won't hear anything. Okay. Summarize the problem to the agent. Perfect. And we can put a little hold music, uplifting beats as the fire's burning down. Very nice. And then I would put this to my number here. I would change that, but we can hit save. I just want to pull this in so I can show you what we do. If we're actually putting this in, I understand this is critical. You want to always invoke the function inside the conversation so that the agent knows when to actually use this. So say invoke transfer call now, and I'll put this in parentheses normally. All right, hopefully you can see this okay. Hit save. This is good. And okay, capable of triggering. All right, let's get on to the multi-shot examples. Data capture and ticketing. I might delete that. It might confuse the agent a little bit because I'm going to have my own data capture system and post-call analysis at the end, so it doesn't really need to be in there. Multi-shot examples. All right, so this is good. Hi, we can't figure out how to get the fireplace to turn on. I can certainly help with that. The gas fireplace in the living room is operated by the wall fireplace. Please turn it off when unattended. Is there anything? Okay. Good. Wi-Fi down. Sorry to hear that. It's troubleshooting. Help. There's water pouring through the ceiling in the kitchen. It's coming through a light fixture. I understand this is critical. I'm connecting you to the on-call manager immediately. All right, and I would also add the transfer call function here. Invoke transfer call function, just like so. Okay. While I connect to you, if it's safe, please look for a small Chrome shut-off valve near the sync clockwise or on it. Good, and it got that from the knowledge base. Okay. Very good. I'll delete this. Save. Now, obviously, if I were delivering this for the client completely, what I would do is comb through this, and I don't have the time to do it. I'm trying to keep everything short, but I would comb through this meticulously and then add anything that it might be missing, just to make sure that all of our bases are covered. But right now, this is good enough to at least present it to the client and see what they think, and then we can tweak it from there. So that's my idea. Okay, now the other thing that would be very helpful is, since you have a lot of Airbnbs that are being rented by people from all over the world, we should probably make this agent multilingual. And I have a very special prompt I use for doing so. In fact, this prompt's so cool, it will actually help you, it'll automatically detect if the person's a non-native English speaker and be like, hey, I notice you might be struggling. Would you mind having this conversation in another language? What do you want to speak in? And it says, I'm fluent in all these languages, here we go. So that's something that's really impressive. It's a wow factor, and you can upsell them if you're actually delivering this client for a property manager, this agent for a property manager, excuse me. So what I would do here is go change this from English to multilingual. You can see all the languages that it supports. Seamless code switching between English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi. What I'm going to do is, I already have this prompt set up in another agent over here, in a barbershop agent. So I'm going to take this and connect it here. You are fluent in all these languages. And then I'll also take this as well. This is good. Get the current date and time. Okay. Let's take all of this over here, and I'll unpack it for a second with you. So we have, always check current time here. We're not booking any appointments, so we'll delete this. Current time _ New York. You can do this for any time zone, by the way. And then, since we're in Eastern, this works perfectly. West Virginia. You are fluent in all these languages. By default, you speak English. However, if you notice the caller is struggling to communicate, offer and say, do you have any other language that you prefer? Now, the way that we do this, because we're using a text to speech, we're not doing, if you need to understand the underlying infrastructure here. We're using a speech to text, text to speech, and Retell AI. These are just like, it takes a text and then it transforms it to speech. That means that essentially we're dealing with a chatbot with voice, but at the end of the day, this agent isn't going to perform like a human would. It won't be able to hear that the person's accent is a little bit weird or something's off in their tonality. Because at the end of the day, it's just taking the speech, converting it to text, and then we're only analyzing the text and then transferring it back into speech. If we were to analyze like the accent of the person's voice, that would require a real-time model like GPT-4 when you get on and turn on the voice mode. So that's an entirely different agent than we're building right now. So that way, you actually have to build directly into the prompt a manner in which, if the transcriber is picking up broken English, then we can, say, let's try to have this conversation in a different language. Okay, so the way I do this is, it's kind of like, let's go over here to ChatGPT. It's kind of domain dependent. So like, if I'm building this for a bunch of firefighters or if I'm building this for property managers, there are going to be common conversations and common words that a non-native English speaker is likely to say in those common conversations. And that's the best way we're going to detect. So what I do is, I'll say this, hey, I want you to make a list of phrases that a non-native English speaker may say, potentially, if they are calling about a question they have at an Airbnb property. Make at least 10 different phrases that are most likely to be said. Okay. Now, you don't want to get too exhaustive with this, only because if you make it too long, it might even start detecting English speakers as non-native English speakers, and you don't want that. Okay, but booking, can I ask some questions? No, they need to be more broken English clearly. So let's see what this does here. And if I go back, I would paste this right down here. Thank you, ChatGPT 5. Hello, I stay at your house. I have some question. The only problem with this is it may detect someone with a West Virginian accent because it can be so thick as a non-native English speaker. But I'm gonna put it in anyway. Let's see what happens. So, if it detects any of these signs, say, do you have another language you'd prefer? Here are the signs. So the signs are like broken English, phrases like this, not limited to. And I think that's a good delineation. So we can even test it. We've built a lot. Let's see where we're at now. Obviously we're not testing the integrations, we're just testing the agent's functionality. So let's go ahead and test this here. Allow. Why is it? Okay. Hello?
Thank you for calling. You're welcome.
That was weird. Let's go back here. I'm actually going to change the voice too. I like Chloe better. She can be a little bit more upbeat than Simo. Hello.
Thank you for calling. I'm Chloe, an intelligent assistant for the Maple Fork Lodge. But you can talk to me just like you would to a human. How can I help you today?
Let's see. I stay your house. I have some question.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have another language you would prefer? I can assist you in English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi, Russian, Portuguese, Japanese, Italian, or Dutch. What questions can I help you with about Maple Fork Lodge?
Let's try Spanish. So, yo tengo un fuego en la casa, es muy grande, necesito su ayuda.
¿Podemos continuar en español?
Oh, that's
¿En qué
weird.
puedo ayudarte?
Ok, tengo un grande fuego en la casa. Ayuda, auxilio, por favor, ahora.
Si está en peligro, cuelgue y marque al 911 inmediatamente.
Good.
Estoy conectado.
Okay, it's telling me to call 911. Let's not do that. You get the point. So you could refine that a little bit. As obviously for production agent, I would test it some more, but that's the idea, and that's what we've actually shipped for some multilingual agents. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the integrations for this. My idea is I want to connect this to a make.com scenario. So we'll go over to make.com. If you've never used make.com before, it's basically a platform that allows you to connect all these other platforms in a no-code way. So you don't have to be a developer, but you can develop, which is pretty cool. So what I'll do is create a little webhook. This will be a custom webhook. And this webhook essentially allows us to connect Retell AI over to make.com. So I can say, let's name the webhook as Maple, save, copy address, and I'll bring this over to Retell just like this. Paste that in. Okay. Now, it's important before we make that initial connection with the webhook that we define the information that we're trying to send over. So the best way to do this, I would say, is let's create the end goal Google Sheets. This is the Google Sheets where all of the calls will be logged into. And so we'll have like the time, call date right here. Let me zoom in a little bit if I can. Let's say name of caller, put that in there. Okay, that's weird. Why did name of caller? We can put in the call summary. Actually, I'm going to put in urgency level. Maintenance request. Make that a question. So if this is yes, this will probably be the easiest way to do this. If this is yes, then it would automatically trigger an email to the property manager. If it's no, then forget it. We don't trigger an email, and it just gets handled as a routine inquiry that the agent handles itself. So we're not going to overwhelm the person at the front desk with all of these emails. Maintenance request, yes or no. Urgency level for maintenance request. Put that in here. This will be like 1 through 5 is my idea. And then we can have a call summary. Okay. And lastly, call recording. And I am forgetting something here. And that would be the person's phone number. So let's just go and add a column to the left. Phone. And that should work. Okay, maintenance request. I'm just thinking, do we have anything else that I could add here that I might be missing? Maintenance request, call summary. It'll come up probably as we're doing this. So maple log, caller log is what we'll name this. And now let's just extract this information. So if we go to Retell, we already have the urgency level that we're going to be extracting. Next, let's make a Boolean variable, which is basically a yes or no automatically. So it can only ever be yes or no. And this will be maintenance. So is maintenance needed? And that will be simple enough. Now, what else do we have? We have the name of the caller that we're trying to extract. Name of caller. What is the caller's full name or just first name? Save it. All right. And that should be pretty much, it's pretty vanilla, but that should work from there. Okay. So call settings should be good. Last thing I'm going to change here is we're going to make the AI speak first. So I want this to be a custom message. A dynamic message is every single time it starts with a different opening line. I don't like that. I want it to be hard-coded. So I'll just take this. Thank you for calling. I'm Chloe, an intelligence assistant for Maple Fork Lodge. Custom message. You can talk to me. Let's concise this down a little bit. Go to chat. Concise this down and say you are calling on a recorded line. All right. We just want that opening line to be as quick as possible. Thanks for calling. I'm Chloe. This call is recorded. The assistant for Maple Fork Lodge. That's a little bit dicey. I'll say AI assistant. I'll say the assistant. Now, we'll keep this short. I've done this many different times in different ways. Now, regulations could be changing in the future by the time that this video comes out, where AI, FCC's ruling that the AI actually has to identify itself as an AI. As of right now, that's not the case, but that could change in the future where the AI actually has to say, hey, I'm an AI assistant. How can I help you? So that's just some information there. Call is recorded. Thanks for calling. I don't like how this is phrased. Thanks for calling. I'm Chloe. I'm Chloe. You're speaking to Chloe on a recorded line. And I think that should be good. Line. The assistant for Maple Fork Lodge. All right. We'll keep that as is. And then we'll just connect this to our phone number. So if you've never done this before, you go over to, just to buy a phone number, you have to go over to phone numbers, hit buy new number. I already did this for this video, so I just grabbed this number here, and we'll change it to the inbound number Maple Fork agent draft, just like so. That way when people actually call the number, they'll have access to it. My idea is that once a person signs in at the property, they'll be sent this number with, hey, if you have any questions, just call this number and everything will be taken care of. That's my idea. This number is not going to be available to people before they actually purchase their stay at the property for Airbnb. So we can hit publish here in Retell. Beautiful. And now what I'll do is test this connection. So the way that many of you have trouble connecting Retell over to Make, and it's kind of a timing issue. The way you do this properly is you call it, and I'm going to call it using my actual phone number so that you'll see that it will actually send over a real number. If you do a web call, you don't get the full number sent over, so you need to make sure that you do it with a phone number. Some of you can have trouble with that. Let's do this here. And I'm going to call this assistant. Just make sure I have the right number. 267-532-9405. Sure, that's good. 532. 9405. Okay. So here's how this works, and you have to follow me very carefully here. We need to time this just right, so as soon as I send over the information from Retell at the end of the call, make.com picks it up. Okay, so if we go back to make.com, we're only looking for one of three webhooks. There's call started, call ended, and call analyzed that Retell is going to send over throughout the duration of the call. We only want call analyzed. This is a juicy packet of information with all of our analysis data in the packet. So what I want to do is just go redetermine data structure as soon as the call is ending. And you'll see how I do that in a second. So here we go. I'm going to call it.
Thanks for calling. You're speaking to Chloe on a recorded line, the assistant for Maple Fork Lodge. How can I help you?
Hey, Chloe. I'm just wondering how I can find the TV remote.
Thank you for your question. The TV remote is usually located either on the coffee table in the living room or on the TV stand itself. If you don't see it there, please check nearby side tables or drawers in the living area. Did that information help you find the remote, or is it still missing? Let me know if you need further assistance.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit exit and call right here. And let me just do this really quick.
Thank you for calling.
Redetermine data structure. It should come through. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, that's what we want. By the way, I realized while we were doing that phone call, we've got a lot of things to change in the prompt to make it more conversational. You're probably listening to that like, man, that needs help, and it does. Also, the latency was high because I'm using 4.1 instead of 4.1 mini. 4.1 mini does a lot better with latency. I don't know why I'm using that. I'll change that right here. 4.1 mini and fast tier. This will, if you're doing a production agent, you want to use the fast tier instead because that is using a dedicated pool of latency that does not change even when there's a million users on the platform versus 0. It stays the same, and you want to use that. Okay, so we see that it works successfully determined. Now, if I connect this over to my Google Sheets, make myself smaller, this is what it's going to look like. I want to do add a row, just like so. And let's say Maple Fork. What did I name this? Oh, let's change this mark. Maple color log. Perfect. Sheet 1. Okay, call date. Beautiful. So we have all the information sent over here in call ended. Now for color date, I have a way I do this. I just take format date, and it's going to take the timestamp, which is in these weird milliseconds, super long, and we want to just format it to something that's actually humanly readable. Makes that very easy. You just go format date, and then you put in the start timestamp right here, insert it. For phone number, it's the same thing. We need to go over to, they have the default phone number that you can use. Kind of hard to see. Let's see where it is. It's from number. And this is the number that the person's calling from, and name of caller. So this is going to be under call analysis, custom analysis data, and we want to put in a name of caller just like so. Maintenance request, put that there. Remember we did this in Retell, and then urgency level. Call summary is going to be right here, and then call recording. Where's call recording? It's probably right in front of me. There it is, recording URL, save. Okay, so that's the key information we're extracting. Now, the only thing is, since this webhook's firing 3 times during the phone conversations, we want to make sure that we filter out all those 3 except 1. And so the way we do that is just we want to do a little filter, text operator, condition, it's event equal to call analyzed. Now you can put equal to case insensitive, call analyzed, just like that. Save. That way when we do this, and if I hit, you can see this run, we'll just do immediately as data arrives. Okay, save. That when I call this assistant, let's do it again. See how it goes. It should be sending over that information perfectly. So it hasn't sent it yet. Hello.
Thank you for your message. Could you please clarify what information you are referring to?
So I'm going to hit hang up, and it should have sent something over. There we go. So we have some information. We have the phone, name of caller, maintenance request, urgency, and all of this. Now, sometimes this might be a little bit pesky, small thing, but I mean, when you're doing production agents, it matters. The Google Sheets takes out the +1, so you actually have to format it. It's always going to be in the E.164 format, which is this entire string with +1. But so what I do is I just go hit this, format, number, and I have this plus at the beginning. So if I hit this button, oh, it's a format right here. Let's go number plus, there it is. And so that's a little format I use. If you want to just see that again, it's right here, just like so. And you can make that under custom number format, just like this, and you put in the digits there, apply. Now, obviously, if you're in the US, I'm using +1. If you're in Australia, 63, it's whatever in whatever country. But that country code is always going to come out there. Okay. We have the call recording, so it's sent over this information. This is a good start for us. The next thing we're going to want to do, though, is actually be able to distinguish between every single call and callers that actually have a maintenance request, and then be able to send those callers directly to either an SMS to the person who's dealing with this or an email to the front desk. So the way that I'm going to do this, I have to think through it a little bit, and the way I think I'm going to do this, Google Sheets, let's see. So I want to send an email. I can make a new module for email, but I only want to send this email if it is under this certain condition. I think the way that I'll do this is just go like this, condition. The condition will be, let's see. Let's say, remember that thing we set up for maintenance? That's what I'm thinking to use. So we could go like custom analysis data, maintenance. If it's a maintenance request, okay, and this is equal to true, I think case insensitive, right? Because right now it's equal to false when it's not. Only in that case will it actually send an email. That's my idea here. Otherwise it won't, okay? So, and the email will just go to the front desk. So let's just use my email for the time being at gmail.com. All right. Subject will be like maintenance request. And then we'll put in the urgency level. So we'll have a flag urgency as, let's set this to call analysis, custom analysis data, urgency level right here. Beautifully. Okay. Just like that. Request. We could even put the name of the caller. That way it would make more sense, but we want to pack as much information, I would say, if this was me, into the subject so that they can just see at a line view, oh, what's going on here. So I put name of caller and then urgency level. Now for content, hi, let's say Connie, person who's managing this. You want to put a line break, so by default, if you don't put these little HTML tags, the entire thing will just be in one blob after it sends the email. So you want to make sure you put them in just like this. Break, hi Connie. And let's see here. This email is to inform you that caller name, that a current guest named name of caller was having a maintenance issue. Oh, obviously, Mark Tomlin, you're forgetting something. Let's actually put in the maintenance issue. That obviously, no duh, that's why I knew I was forgetting something. Let's put in whatever that maintenance issue is. So we should change the post-call analysis to include this. Post-call analysis. What is the nature of the maintenance problem? Maintenance issue. In 1 or 2 words, let's say max, what is the nature of the maintenance issue? Okay, save. And that should be good. Now we can take that. I'm gonna have to re-export the data. That's fine, no big deal. At least you'll get to see what this is really like when you're building these agents. We're having a maintenance issue. To inform me that a current guest named blank was having a maintenance issue, and then we could insert that dynamic variable right here, or that export from make. Okay, insert here. Don't forget that, Mark, please. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna just put in, here is a summary of the call. Summary of the call. And put another line break. I can put in the call summary. Okay. Last thing I would put, I'll link it back to the sheets for more information on this call. Link to right here, this Google Sheet. This is standard way of doing things. Where's my scenario? Perfect. Okay. Save. Now this should work in theory. I'm going to test it now, and we'll see what happens. So let's hit save. Obviously, we're going to have to read. I think we're going to have to. Yeah. Let's see if this works. Let me call this sucker. It should be running. So, and we can check our inbox. Hi. I'm having a huge problem with the faucet. The faucet is like leaking everywhere.
I can help with that. To understand the situation better, could you please describe what is happening in more detail? Is water actively pouring out and causing flooding, or is it a slow drip or spray? This will help me determine how urgent the issue is and what steps to take next.
Well, the issue is actually not that urgent. It's just, it's leaking, you know. I don't want to be wasting your water, so maybe I could try tightening it with a wrench. I don't have a wrench, though.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me know, and I appreciate your concern about water conservation. Since it's a leak but not an emergency, I'll create a maintenance ticket so our team can address it as soon as possible. Please do not attempt to fix the faucet yourself, as we want to make sure everything is handled safely and correctly. You will receive a text message with your ticket number and a link to upload a photo or video of the leak. This helps our team respond faster. Is there anything else I can assist you with at this time?
I'm good, thank you. That's great.
You're very welcome.
So I'm going to hang up. We got to fix a few things from the prompt. I just wrote them down so that we know, because it's not going to be sending an SMS to the person. I mean, we could program that in. Another thing that I would like to program into this agent, if we were doing this long term, is Retell's new feature, which is really cool. It allows two-way SMS. So if the person gets off the phone and then decides to text the agent would then take the exact same prompt and everything and just talk back to them over SMS, so they don't have to call. That's super nice feature, and it literally only came out, I think, yesterday. So I need to make a video on that as well. It's beyond the scope of today's video, but it's very important. Okay, so let's see if everything worked. If we go over here, oh, it worked. Beautiful. So here we go. Maintenance request urgency 2. Hi, Connie. This is to inform you that a current guest named blank was having a maintenance issue. I didn't say my name. Here's a summary of the call. For more information, click here. That's pretty good. First try. So you can see that our filter worked nicely. If I go back to this and just check, we can go to this log right here, self smaller, and you can see it executed beautifully. The filter was true for maintenance issue. And then this should not send when we're doing an actual, just a normal question and not a maintenance problem. Okay, so this is, notice how I'm doing the testing while also testing the integrations, and that way I can go back to the prompt and fix things that I notice are wrong. Let's also see if this maintenance issue came through. Because we did the custom webhook at the beginning and redetermined data structure, I don't know if the maintenance type is going to show up. We may have to redetermine data structure again, which is no big deal. Custom analysis data. Yeah, it's not coming through. So that third maintenance issue data right there that we're looking for is not coming through. So the way that I would do this is, let's just redetermine data structure again real quick. I think this is important to show you all the steps, because this is the reality of building these systems. I don't think people are showing these enough. So I'm going to call this thing again. I'm going to deactivate it for a second. Call it. And we're going to do what we did before.
Thanks for calling. You're speaking to Chloe on a recorded line, the assistant from Maple Fork Lodge. How can I help you?
Hey, I wanted to let you know the remote broke on for the TV.
Thank you for letting me know about the TV remote. I can help with that. Could you please tell me if the remote is physically damaged, like cracked or missing buttons, or if it just stopped working suddenly? This will help me understand the situation better and get it resolved for you.
Okay, so I'm going to do this really quick again. Cancel, close, redetermine data structure. Let's see if it goes. Call analyzed. And we might have missed it. We might have been too slow there. Okay, let me try it again. So what I'll do this, let me call it.
Thanks for calling. You're speaking to Chloe on a recorded line, the assistant from Maple Fork Lodge. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, I would like to let you know that the remote just broke.
Thank you for letting me know about the remote. I can help with that. Could you please tell me which remote is broken?
Let's see. Perfect. Okay, it came through. Beautiful. So hit save, close that, and then we'll delete old data. And now we should be able to manipulate this new information. So if I go here, let's go maintenance issue, insert, delete this, and it should look like call analysis. It didn't come through. That's weird. Now that is odd. It should be coming through here. So let's do this again. I'm going to publish this assistant again. And then I'm going to try a different trick up my sleeve. Let's just try to run once. And then call the assistant. Here we go.
Thanks for calling. You're speaking
Hey,
to Chloe
I just
on
wanted
a
to let you
recorded
know
line, the
that
assistant.
the remote broke. Not sure what to do.
I can help with that. To understand the situation better, could you please describe what is happening with the remote?
She's breathing a lot there. Run once, came through, call analyzed. Now that should have included the packet information we're looking for. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. So yeah, that, okay, let's check. Let's see if that came through. Under here, call analysis. Beautiful, maintenance issue. So it came through. See, this is how you troubleshoot things live. Maintenance issue is having this problem. A problem, maintenance problem with, and then I'll just put like this, remote broken. Save. Beautiful. Now that should be good. So let's also just update the Google Sheets here because obviously that's important for us to see what's going on. If I go right over here, Google Sheets, let's see, why is my camera like so low? Let's fix that. So I want to add in maintenance request and then right after this, new insert to the right. And this should look like maintenance issue. Okay. And then if I go back to make, the way that I would update this is just by going like this right here. Refresh. And it should pop up maintenance issue. Yeah, so I'm going to have to move all these forward, but that's fine. So maintenance issue would be under, just like we did before. Perfect. Paste it. Urgency level, summary, and good to go. And we'll hit save. Beautifully done. All right. Now, you can see that this is working pretty well. There's a few things I would probably modify here, like in the prompt. So you can see there's some issues with how it's not really sounding too conversational. And so I'm going to add a few things here that I like to do to make it sound a little bit less robotic and less AI. And then we're also going to try using GPT-5 mini and see if that makes any improvements to this assistant. Okay. Let me go back here. So first thing I'll add is something like this under rules. I like to be Spartan in your communication try and sound conversational, but also remember this is a voice conversation. This is a phone call. So don't ramble ever. Okay. The other thing I like to include is just a humanization prompt. I like to humanization just so you can see it. I always do this with my agents. I've talked about this in previous videos, but whenever you are trying to make your agent sound a little human, adding filler words can make a huge difference. So I like to say you can either hard code some of these filler words directly in the steps and how it speaks at the beginning of the conversation, like saying, "Hi, whenever you respond to this, I understand this is critical. I am connecting you to this." So we can make it sound a little bit more human. Obviously, I find that maybe humanization might just be a styling thing. I think actually it's a little bit deeper than that, because when you're humanizing these prompts, it's going to change the way in which people interact with it over the phone. If they feel like it really is a human living and breathing on the other end, they're going to treat it with that humanesque. And I'd prefer if they were leaning into the idea that this agent is more of a human and less of a robot, because overall it's programmed to perform better that way in general. So that's my idea here. For some reason my light keeps dying, so I'll turn that off and then turn it back on. So humanization, I'd say use and in every other sentence. I find that every other sentence is the perfect sweet spot. If it's every sentence, it just is too much. Use and another thing I'll add to this is make sure to end the call using end call function here. End call. Use this to end. It's just a default function in Retell. It's really simple. Using end call. Only after, and I want to just make this clear, only after all of the questions been answered and when the user says goodbye, basically, or have a good day. This also adds to its humanization, its feel that it can actually hang up the phone, just like that. Okay, so we'll hit save. Now, the way I was talking about earlier, how you'd make this an intelligent chatbot, the way you do that, I don't have SMS set up on any of these numbers here since I just bought this number, but if you were to set this up with phone numbers, you'd go over here, you'd add SMS, just like so. You'd register it. It would take a couple days up to a few weeks to be registered. Once you're registered, you can then add an inbound hook and tie this number to this agent, so whenever somebody is texting the agent, it will use this agent to actually respond. So it's completely multimodal in that sense, which is just incredible. It's so helpful. Okay, so yeah, I turned my light on. Beautiful. Now, what I'm gonna do is hit publish, and we're just gonna keep iterating and testing it. The way I like to test my agents is I'll go to test over chat, and we'll talk to it back and forth. I'm going to test this with 4.1 mini, and I'm also going to test it with 5 since it just came out and it's exciting. Thanks for calling. You're speaking to Chloe on a recorded line, the assistant from Maple Fork Lodge. I actually could change this and make it a little bit better. Thanks for calling. On a recorded Maple Fork Lodge. This is Chloe. Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you? It's just a little bit less clunky. And we'll hit save to that. Okay. So, hi. What is the Wi-Fi password? Just ask it some questions it should know. The network name is this, and the password is lodgestay20. Did that answer? Okay. That right there does not sound very human. Did that information help you answer your question? I'm going to get rid of that. Agent says, did that information. So that's showing up here in the prompt. We can find out. The AI will do things like this, and I don't like it. For FAQs, agent says, did that information help you? Also for maintenance, create a ticket and confirm with the guest. Now, we have to remove the fact that it was saying I'll text you. We could set that functionality up, but it's not needed for this case. So we'll say create a ticket. With the guest, I've created a ticket. We don't need a ticket ID for this issue. And okay, this is if we were going over text. Please share photos. That's something we could add as well. It could share photos over SMS. Okay, that's beyond the scope of this video, but that's very helpful. Okay. If the situation worsens, please let us know. Or call us back. Perfect. SMS. We need to get rid of some of these. Okay. See, obviously when you have an AI build out most of your prompt, it means that you really have to comb through it line by line, make sure there isn't anything that is inaccurate. Otherwise, if you're lazy with it, it can make some embarrassing errors, so you want to get rid of those. Alright, so let's try it again. Let's ask this time, how do I turn on fire pit? The fire pit was operated manually. Please use the ignition button located at the side of the fire pit to start. Make sure to follow all the safety guidelines. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Assist is also a word that AI uses a lot, and I don't like it in my agents. I've heard complaints from clients of mine, so I'll get rid of that. And I may even just say, it's probably in here somewhere. I may even say in the rules, don't use the word assist. Sounds kind of funny, but put that right there. Save. Okay, so these are small things that we're tweaking, but I think that's pretty good. Now, if I would test this a little bit more, but then the next thing I would do, you can use this, an AI simulated chat as well. I could say this, we could watch it happen in front of us. Your name is Mike. You are calling because the faucet is flooding everywhere. Your primary objective is you want to know what to do. Okay, and we'll hit test. And now we can watch it. Hi Chloe, my faucet's flooding everywhere and I need to know what to do. And beautiful, I understand the script. I'm connecting you to the on-call manager. While I connect you, if it is safe to do so, please look to a nearest Chrome shutoff valve under the nearest sink and turn it clockwise. Beautiful. And then it invoked the function transfer call now. So I can show you this works. I understand this is critical. I'm connecting you to the beautiful. Very nice. And so that would have worked successfully. I can't use my phone. I don't have it with me at the moment, but I would actually put my phone number in here to test it. And then what I would do is take that and try it again and again and see if the transfer call function is actually working successfully. So I could test it over here, I could test it here, I could test it in this simulation. After I've done these tests, what I normally like to do, by the way, I think it's worth mentioning, I'm not testing any of the integrations right now. I'll test those later. Right now, all I'm testing is just the functionality of the LLM. So what I can do here is I can make different test scenarios. So let's say this is an FAQ tester. All this is supposed to do is just ask questions. So your job is to ask 5 questions. Just ask the Wi-Fi password, then ask, and then what I'll do, I'll actually take this knowledge base and have ChatGPT generate for me a prompt. Generate this prompt for me based off the information here to have another AI test the AI voice agent to see if the info is accurate in the agent according to the knowledge base, just like so. So I'll paste that entire knowledge base, and I'll even take a screenshot of this, and I'll say make a super simple user prompt, make a super simple user prompt, and a success criteria for this one. And now this will just allow me to test this assistant to see if it's actually trained upon all the data. Pet policy, trash picks up day. Okay. We need to check now, get that information from this knowledge base, the correct info, and put it in the success criteria. That way we'll know if it's actually answering the questions correctly. Beautiful. So I'm going to take this whole thing, put it in here to test. Basically, this testing thing, if you couldn't tell by now, is just let me grab this, another AI testing our AI voice agent for us, so we don't have to ask all these questions ourselves. Especially if you're doing lots of tests, it's going to be kind of annoying. So I'll do current time, we can delete that, save, FAQ tester. And the way this works is you just hit test, and you can do as many of these as you like, and they'll run in parallel. So this one's running. I could ask another one. You have a fire in the house. Explain the issue. It's a small fire. Should I use the fire extinguisher? Where is it? Maybe extinguisher. Where is it? The agent tells them where the extinguisher is located and transfers them if it's severe. Okay, that's our success criteria. We'll hit save, fire. So this is just an example on how you could test this agent, and then we'll hit test for this one as well. Batch testing, and now these are both going on. Okay, so the first one happened, and we can see that it failed. There's a lot of information in there, so it might have actually been successful with all four, but only failed for one. So it's probably not the best way to test, but it still works. Can you please give me the Wi-Fi password? Sure, the Wi-Fi password is this. So let's see what went wrong here. What time is check-in at Maple Fork Lodge? Check-in's at this time, 4 p.m. What is the parking situation? Parking is free. Pets are not allowed. Trash pickup. Okay, you're welcome. Now, why did it fail? Trash days. However, the parking information is incomplete and inaccurate. The agent only mentions free on-site parking but does not specify the gravel driveway fits 10 plus cars or that roadside parking is not allowed. The only reason it's not including all that additional information is because I told the agent to be extra Spartan. So you have to be careful that if you tell the agent to be super concise, that it doesn't cut out relevant information that it should be sharing, especially regarding a policy. So there's a balance there that's a little bit hard to toe. Additionally, the pet policy is incorrect, stated as pets not allowed, whereas the criteria specify pets are allowed with a fee and certain restrictions. So it didn't do it perfectly. Pets are not allowed at Maple Fork. Is there anything else? So pets are allowed. Let's see why I did that wrong. That's a good catch. Maybe the agent is not trained about pet information. So I'll go in here, pet. And that's right, there is no pet information in here. Okay, so we missed some information. This is a great way to find out. We'd have to add now from this knowledge base, pet, there is a pet fee allowed with a fee. And so we need to add this information in here. Now, something you could try doing, and you might be watching this like, Mark, why don't you just add this all in a knowledge base? We could theoretically do that. So if I took all of this is how you would add a knowledge base. I would download it. Let's say there's a Word document. Take it over here to Retell. The reason I don't like knowledge bases is because I find they're less accurate than if had you put that information, the same stuff, in the system prompt. And the other reason is it adds 50 milliseconds of latency, and I don't like losing some latency. But if we have to, then we can, and we'll just put in Maple Fork, add document, upload the file. Now we have all this. Now we can upload it, hit save. It'll take a second to sort through all that information. And now let's go ahead and ask it the same question and see how it does. Agent, I'll connect it to the knowledge base right over here. Maple Fork, just like so. So let's try this.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey, Chloe, what's the pet policy?
Pets are allowed with a fee. Please keep them in a crate when unattended and off the furniture. Anything else you want to know?
Okay, thank you so much. So that's actually pretty good. It searched the knowledge base successfully and gave us our information. So you can see, though, in doing so, it did add about 50 milliseconds of latency there. It's a trade-off, but if you want to make sure that you're not missing any information, it might be useful, especially if you have loads and loads of information, because if you put too much information in the system prompt, then you're going to have to pay more money. After, I believe it's 3,500 tokens, you'll incur an extra fee, is what it says here. So that's some information to keep in mind. Last, what I'll do, so I would normally spend more time on this, but the last thing I would do is then test the integrations. The integrations being make.com, the call transfers, is it sending the email, and the Google Sheet. So let's test these things. And I would test 5 Mini. I'll test it right now just out of curiosity. Let's see if it does a better job, if it changes, if you notice any difference. Hello.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork. Thank you for calling. I'm Chloe, an intelligent assistant for the Maple Fork Lodge. But you can talk to me just like you would to a human. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'm just wondering how much it would be to like get the fire turned on. Do we have to pay for our own gas?
The fireplace is gas and available for guest use. Per the property rules in the Maple Fork Lodge, KB, pets incur a fee, but the KB does not list any guest charges for normal use of the gas fireplace. I can't promise payment or refunds. If you need confirmation about fees for extended or unusual...
That was a lot of information. Let's try that with 4.1. I did not like how that performed. Let's see if there's a difference. If there isn't, then we'll have to change something in the prompt here.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey, so I'm just curious what it costs us if I want to use the fire pit. Do I have to pay for the gas?
The fire pit is wood burning only. You can use the wood stacked by the shed at no extra cost. There's no gas involved or fee for using the fire pit. Just please make sure to fully extinguish the fire with water when you're done. Anything else you want to know?
Okay. Now that was an accurate answer. There is no gas. I'm way more impressed with 4.1 and that 4 little second thing I just did. I've actually found that my test from 5, I've not been super impressed with it. I would have to go deeper into it to arrive at a valid conclusion. But I do think from what I've seen even here and playing with it, that I'm probably right that 5 is not as good as 4 and 4.1 that we've been using for voice agents at this current point. But we'll see, that could change in the future. So don't take my word for it. Okay, now let me test the integrations. Everything seems to be working from what I've seen, but let's go ahead and run you through this one last time and make sure it's working. So I'll do a final test right now, go through it, and if I go right over here, basically what should happen is I'm going to call into the assistant and I'm going to say, hey, I've got this issue, problem in the apartment. I want you, not the apartment, the house. Is there any way that you could help me and resolve this issue? It's going to, as we did before, log that information into Google Sheets with a relative urgency level. As you can see here, it will tell us how important it is for that to be fixed. If it's not a maintenance issue, it should not put an urgency level here, and it should not send any information to the person at the front desk. If there is an emergency, it should immediately, any sort of maintenance issue should be sent to the person at the front desk. So that's the information here. Let me go ahead and call it and see what happens.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, my English not good. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes, I do speak Spanish. Would you prefer to continue in Spanish?
Sí.
Perfecto, podemos continuar en español. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Tengo un problema, el agua no está funcionando bien en el baño.
Ajá. Entiendo. Puedo ayudar con eso. Para entender mejor, ¿podrías describir qué está pasando con el agua en el baño? ¿No sale agua, me está goteando o hay otro problema?
Here, I'll put you on the phone with my English-speaking uncle. Yeah, so their water's just getting all over the floor. Not sure what to do about it. It's leaking. It's in the bathroom from the bathtub. I'm not sure why.
I understand this is critical. I am connecting you to the on-call manager immediately. While I connect you, if it is safe to do so, please look for a small chrome shutoff valve under the nearest sink and turn it clockwise to close it. We're on it. The manager is calling you now. If safe, close any local water valves and avoid the affected area.
Thank you. Okay, so that was a successful call transfer from what we can tell. Now let me test if it's not an immediate question that needs to be answered with someone over the phone. What if it's just a general maintenance query? Let's test that real quick too, make sure that's working. And then the final test will be just a random question.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, I just wanted to let you know that for some reason, some of the wood on the lodge, when you step on it, it just rattles a little bit unnaturally. So just around the back.
Thanks for letting me know. That sounds like a minor issue. I'll log this as a maintenance ticket for the team to check the wood rattling at the back of the lodge. If it gets worse, please call us back. Ticket created. Is there anything else I can help with?
I think we're good. I really appreciate you and have a great day.
Thank you for calling. We hope you enjoy the rest of your stay at Maple Fork Lodge. Have a great day.
All right, let's check if that was logged. It should have sent us an email, and then it also should have put something in the Google Sheet. So if I go over to my email, I'll hit refresh, and there we go. Maintenance. And we have two requests here. One is the one we just did about the fire. The bathtub leak. This is urgency 4, very important. Summary of the call, more information. And then this one is the one we just did with an urgency 1. So this is just to let you know that they were having a problem with the wood rattling. Here's a summary of the call. The agent logged a maintenance ticket and advised the caller. So, and then for more information, if we go to the Google Sheets here, you'll see that this is provided right here. Maintenance issue, wood rattling, and then urgency level. We can even sort these, right, by urgency if we wanted to, which makes it really nice and easy for us to go through what's been dealt with and what's not been dealt with. The last question and test I'll do is just, let's see, if I call in the agent and just ask it a basic question, then it should not send an email to the front desk because the agent will have handled it. Let's see how it does.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge Support. This is Chloe on a recorded line. How can I help you?
Hey Chloe, I just I'm wondering what the Wi-Fi password is.
The Wi-Fi network name is Maple Fork Guest, and the password is Lodge Stay 2025. Is there anything else I can help
Can
with?
you repeat the password slower, please, a little bit?
Sure. The password is Lodge Stay 2025. That's LODGESTAY 2025 with an exclamation mark at the end. Anything else you need?
No, I'm all good. Actually, one more question. Is it all right if I have my dog on the property?
Pets are allowed with a fee. Please keep your dog off the sofas and bedspreads and crate them if left alone. Anything else you want to know?
All right. I'm good. I appreciate your help today.
Thanks for calling Maple Fork Lodge. We hope you enjoy the rest of your stay.
Now, let's just check very quickly. Did it send us an email? We'll go back over here. It doesn't look like it did, which is a good sign. And correct, it did not send us an email because, as you can see, our filter recognized that this was not, in fact, a maintenance request. It was just something basic that the agent took care of, and we're not going to waste time bothering the person at the front desk. So, you can see, there is no front desk. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's just the person who's managing the property. So, okay, true. And just like so. So you can see our entire agent's functioning. Obviously, this is the agent that I would show to the client. I would obviously spend a little bit more time testing it, refining it, making sure that everything is working well. At the end of the day, if this agent is going to be in production, you're going to find that when you build these systems, 40% of it is just going to be testing. That can be kind of boring to show the entire process on camera, but I have shown you the entire process from start to finish here of building this entire agent. And you can turn around and sell one of these things. The current pricing I've seen is from anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 to $1,800, depending on its value to the client. If it's multilingual, maybe even $2,000. It just depends. And then maybe even consider doing a monthly retainer. What we do is anywhere from $200 to $500 a month for them to use it, and then you can upcharge on minutes as well if you're servicing with a dashboard at about 40 cents to 65 cents a minute. So there's some ideas for you. Hopefully you get a greater understanding on how you could build one of these property management Airbnb agents for a real business. Obviously this is a super ubiquitous use case. There's demand for this virtually everywhere, and I think there couldn't be an easier way to build an assistant and get it set up delivering real value for someone. If you want to see this assistant, get access to the prompts, my prompt building software, everything, you can join the community below. I appreciate you guys watching till the end of this video. If you got value from it, consider subscribing, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.
Tectonic, where AI finds its voice. Come for the tech, stay for the transformation.